Alright guys, hey, Nick Layton back here with you, and today we're going to take a look at a blast from the past. This is from 1986, Vinnie Moore's debut album, a track called Hero Without Honor. We're just looking at the arpeggio section in the middle of the tune. And this definitely takes me back in time. This section, I first learned it way back, I think it must have been 87, when Vinnie released his first Hot Licks video. And if you guys don't know what Hot Licks is, it's not what you think. It was a company that made all kinds of guitar instructional videos back in the day. And Vinnie had one called, his first one was called Advanced Lead Guitar Techniques. And I know a lot of guys out there, a lot of professional players cut their teeth and their picking chops on those first, well, the only two videos that Vinnie did. The second one was called Speed Accuracy and Articulation, I think. And I went through both of those. They were on video cassette. I tried to play one of them the other day, and my VCR ate it. So they probably don't even make VCRs anymore. I wish they'd put these on DVD, but I digress. So we're taking a look at this arpeggio section, and in his first instructional video, Vinnie actually taught part of this. So I was already familiar with it, and I got a request from one of you guys out there in YouTube land. I've gotten to know some of you, and this was a request, so thanks for that. I think it's a great little section to learn, because there's no sweep picking involved at all. We're moving through all kinds of arpeggios here, but there's no sweep picking. It's alternate picking, which is pretty tricky at this tempo. It's around 142-ish, and you're going to have your work cut out for you if you're not used to picking through arpeggios, because the difficulty is playing one note on a string and alternate picking through that. Usually when we're alternate picking, we're playing at least 2 notes on a string, maybe 3 notes on a string more often. And so here your challenge is going to be playing this accurately and cleanly, using this technique where you're alternate picking through the arpeggio. So I'm just going to kind of briefly go through the parts for you here. I have some tab and a jam track. You guys can try this out on your own. Make sure you check the description below for those. Also, my free sweep picking guide, which is really going to help you guys master sweep picking and get a handle on that side of arpeggio playing. So this is another side, and a guy like Vinnie Moore, I think, is really cool, because he uses all the techniques. He uses the alternate picking arpeggios. He uses sweep picking arpeggios. You can see him tapping some things sometimes, legato type arpeggios. So this is another, if you haven't tried this before, this will be another tool to add to your arsenal and a way to pick through arpeggios. Okay, so with all that said, grab the tab and the jam track in the description below, grab the free sweep picking guide, It's my free gift to you, Sweet Picking Boot Camp. All right, so let's get cracking on this here. We're going to start out with a E minor arpeggio, okay? Now we're doing two different variations here. Where if you can see, I'm playing starting with a downstroke and then alternate picking everything else. That's the first little section. If you can get a little mute on the notes, it'll help clean it up a little bit. Okay, so let me just play through this slow. You have the tab to refer to. I'm also going to make arpeggio markings in the tab so you know exactly what arpeggios you're playing, but I'm not going to get too in depth into frets and arpeggio names and stuff here. We're just going to kind of go through this. So here it is, slow. Okay, in the next part, we're going to start on the B string. Okay, now here, after we do this, here we're doing this. So this is the only place where we're not truly alternate picking. We do a hammer pull from 3 to 7 back to 3, and then come down this E minor arpeggio. So if you look at the picking here, I'm doing a down, hammer on pull, then an up, and then it's all alternate picking from there. So you would end on a downstroke. Okay, that repeats twice. So we play this whole figure twice. So let me do that at a slow tempo for you. Now we're going to move into the next section where we're going to play some different arpeggios, starting with the E minor. This time we're playing this twice, so we're not playing the 11th fret here. We're going to play this up to the 12th fret both times. Okay, and we're going to go to an A minor. Using that same technique we used before down here on this E minor, where we're doing a quick hammer on and pull off, and then traversing down the arpeggio. Okay, so all that together. Okay, then our next arpeggio is here at the 5th fret. This is a D major arpeggio. Now you'll want to lift up the fingers here so you don't want that ringing together. You want the notes to be separate. So the way I do this is to finger the 5th fret with my index, 7th fret with my ring, on the B string, 7th fret G string with my middle, and then I'm stretching up to the 10th fret with my pinky. Pretty big stretch here. again, some muting will really help this out. Okay, so after we play the D major, now we're going to move up to the G major and do that same technique we did before. Okay. This is just a standard 5-string G major arpeggio. And again, I refer you to Sweep Picking Bootcamp, my sweep picking course, because it has all these shapes in there. So if you're not familiar with some of these shapes you're seeing here, you'll encounter those in that program, even though that's more about sweep picking. Still, you'll see the shapes. It's important to really recognize the shapes, whether you sweep pick them or alternate pick them or however you're going to play them. To know the shapes is more important than actually the technique used, right? So what we have, starting from the beginning of the second section now, is E minor, and then A minor, descending, now D major, there's your G major. So hopefully you can see the logic here. There's a pattern going. Now we're going to move down to a C major 7, where we're going to play. That makes it a C major 7, as we're playing the 7th fret here. So taking a look at the 3rd fret on the high E, 5th fret with that ring finger. If you want to try to bar that and roll your finger, you could. For me, it just works better to use the fingers, and I think I saw Vinnie play it this way as well. So experiment and see what works better for you. But we're going to play 3 on the high E, 5 on the B, 5 on the G, 7 on the high E. Now we're moving up here, and that's an F sharp diminished arpeggio, using that same technique where we do the quick hammer pull. Just to get that down, I would just practice that in one position, whether it's a G major or the F sharp diminished. Just try to get that to where you can get that nice and clean. Once we get to the 9th fret here, we're going to go into the scale line the first time. All this is going to repeat. So this is the first time through this. We've got the first section, which repeats twice. Then we have this, which we're just now finishing the first time, and it goes into the scale line right here. Okay. And that is right out of the E harmonic minor scale. Make sure you check the tab for all the notes there, but that's strict alternate picking. That comes at the end of this last arpeggio. Okay, now at the end of the scale line here, we're going to play these little figures, which are accented by the drums and the bass. So we come out of this. Okay, and that's just 7, 9, and 10 is the note we end on the G string. Whoops. That's all of those little parts together. So let me play from this last arpeggio. now we're going to repeat the whole thing, except this time we're going to have a different ending. All right, so let me do this. Let me quickly play at a slow tempo what we have so far, okay? And this will help you because then it just repeats, and then I'll show you the second ending, okay? Here we go. Okay, I went ahead and played the whole piece for you right there. So if you have any trouble figuring out what goes where, just refer to that last section there that I just played. That's the whole arpeggio section. At the end of it, the second time, at the very end, we get this, which is just a scale line down E minor. It's over the B chord. All right, and that's really it, guys. It's really a challenging bit to work on. I still occasionally will fire this up when I'm looking to improve my accuracy with alternate picking, because nothing does it quite like this, where you have to change strings every time you pick. Every time you are doing a down or an up, you're changing strings. Really difficult to do. And get the metronome out, get the drum machine out if you want to, and work on this, or just you know, try working with the jam track as well. So Vinnie Moore, one of my favorite players of all time, was a huge inspiration to me. Really kind of just watching his old videos when I was a teenager really inspired me, and listening to Time Odyssey, which was and still is my favorite Vinnie Moore album. So many magical tunes on that record. For me, Vinnie's at the very top of all the players. He can do it all. Melodic, bluesy, he can shred, he can play melody with the best of them, and seems to be a really cool guy too, so that counts for a lot. So, and he's still kicking ass, and just came out with a new album too, so check him out for sure, and make sure and grab all the goodies in the description, the tab, the jam track, sweet picking boot camp. I'll see you next time. Rock on.